Many thanks to my awesome patrons and fine tool partners. If you're looking for some free stuff and want some early access, consider becoming a patron today.
Let's get the flock out of here. Boom! That's right, you heard me, the flock. This is going to be my first attempt at flocking something. Now I have a gift box that I'm making for a client, and I won't go into too much detail as to what it holds because YouTube does have guidelines that I'd like to adhere by. But if you stay tuned to the end of the video, you'll see exactly what it's used for. Now, as I stated, yes, this is going to be my first time, but I think a lot of people are intimidated by doing flocking because the results you get are very professional looking. But it's actually really simple, and I'm going to break it down as best I can in this video. So if this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. Don't forget, if you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget the notification bell, and it'll notify you anytime I upload brand new content. So here we are, I've got the box sitting here, and I've taken a lot of prep time to get this thing ready. And the most important thing that I can tell you in regards to doing flocking for the first time or any time is to take excess time and make sure that it is properly prepped. I've already taken extra time and taped off the areas that I do not want any of this stuff to adhere to. I also have an 1/8 inch roundover that surrounds the entire interior of the cavity, and I made sure that I did not want flocking on that too, so I had to tape over that roundover, which took a lot of excess incremental pieces of tape to get that nice and covered. Now, one extra step that I did was to take some plastic, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I took some plastic and I laid it inside the interior of the box. And before I did that, I gave myself an extra wide border of tape all the way around the taped off area. So when I laid the plastic in, I took my X-Acto knife and carefully and lightly cut around the exterior or perimeter of the cavities so I could make a big opening and only see the taped off area once that plastic was removed. And then I just taped the plastic down to that extra wide border that I gave myself. Now, the items that you're going to use are very easy to find. I actually have them in my Amazon store. So if you look down in the description below, you'll find a link to that, and you can buy all of this stuff yourself, either in a kit or separately. Now, the material, this is the what they call tex, and this is very, very fine powder that is in whatever color you want it to be in. The very important part, however, is the underlayment adhesive. Now, I've seen people use normal wood glue that's been diluted, but flock that. We're going to use the glue that comes with it. So, I can't help but laugh whenever I do that. But this is called Flock It Suede Tex Undercoat Adhesive, and this is actually tinted black. So the last thing you're going to need is what looks like a kaleidoscope, but it actually pumps almost like a bicycle pump or a bellow for, maybe a fireplace, to stoke it. But it has little salt, pepper shaker openings down here at the very bottom to allow that material to come through. It does come apart in 2 pieces, and you put the material in the skinny part or the non-worded part like this one has, and put the part right on top, and then this is used to properly distribute the tex flocking material that you're going to put. So you don't hold it completely right side up because the material is naturally going to fall out of the hole. So you always want to hold it at a 45 and just kind of pump it as you go. But there is one more important thing that you might want to make sure that you have on hand and ready to use, and that is a proper dust mask. Now, prep, like I said, is very important for this procedure. Before you apply flocking, you need to make sure that the surface area you are going to apply it in is properly sealed, whether it be with paint or with lacquer, polyurethane, it does not matter. It's got to be sealed, especially if you're using a wood that's very porous. I'm using red oak, and oak is very porous. So before I'm doing this, the day before, I sprayed this with a nice coat of lacquer to get it good and sealed as well as finished. Now that I have taped that area off, unfortunately the material, the underlayment glue, isn't going to stick very well to a nice sheen coat of lacquer, so you need to rough it up just a little bit to give that adhesive something to bite to. And some 220 or 320, probably 220 grit sandpaper will do that nicely. So I've already got my glue opened up, stirred up, ready to go, and I've got a craft brush here that's very simple that I picked up at Home Depot. So once the glue goes down, I will immediately take my mini flocker can right here and apply the flocking suede text material on top. So the trick is with this, never put down any more glue than you'll be able to work with, because once you exceed that open time, it's done. You get one shot at this. So don't try and do this in sections, you'll notice it.
A good rule of thumb when applying flocking powder is when you think you're done, apply a little bit more.
Okay, now that the powder is down, you need to let this sit approximately 10 to 15 hours. That's right, hours. Then come back. What we're gonna do is just take a small little brush like this. It almost looks like a makeup brush. Pick this up at Home Depot as well. It's just a round brush. Like I said, it looks like a blush brush. My wife's gonna laugh at me for knowing that. And then turn the cabinet upside down, and then just take this brush and just kind of brush out a lot of the excess stuff. You want to try and catch as much of the fiber as you possibly can, because you can save it and reuse it. With all the excess powder shaken out of the box, I put all of the material back into the bag, cleaned up. With that complete, I'm going to put the box back together by reattaching the lid, and I'll go ahead and put in the items that are going to go in this box so you guys can see what it's actually used for. I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson on how to do flocking. It was a learning experience for me, but I think it came out great, and I'm sure the new owner of this box is going to love it. Thank you guys very much for joining me on this episode. If you want to check out any prior episodes, you can check them out right over there. Don't forget, click that subscription button if you want to hear and see more videos from me. Thank you guys very much. Many thanks to my patrons and my awesome tool supporters, and I'll see you on the next one. Boom!